Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the 2021 Future of Work Summit, Accelerating AI and Data Automation. This is our 12:15 p.m. event, Building the Corporate AI Academy, Transforming to an AI-Powered Business Culture. So I'd like to welcome everybody. Real quick, just so we can go over some house rules and some guidelines for today's meeting. We are going to ask that everyone keep their cameras off. Microphones will be disabled during the initial discussion. If there is time for a Q&A, we're going to utilize the hand raise feature, and you will at that time be removed from mute and be able to ask your question. During the meantime, if you would like, you can use the chat to ask questions during this presentation. Again, during the Q&A, we'll be utilizing the hand raise feature located in Microsoft Teams. And so everyone is aware, this panel is being recorded. So by being part of this, you are admitting and accepting the recording of today's event. So I would like to welcome you all and pass it off to Barry.
Hi, folks. Thank you for joining. Mark, give a shot at sharing out the deck, if you would, please, sir.
Sure.
All right, you are sharing the present. There we go. Beautiful. All right. Hey, folks, welcome to our session here, focused on building the Corporate AI Academy to support your organization's growth by empowering your people with the skills needed to thrive in an increasingly AI-augmented and data-powered world. Next slide, please. So, folks, I'm Barry Kaufman, and I am the VP of Talent Development here at Fastlane. Thank you again for joining the session. Fastlane is a global consulting and education firm. We have actually a physical presence in 45 different countries as an education company. Those locations have been a little bit empty during the pandemic, but we're looking forward to them come back online. We do a lot of virtual training. Our mission is to help enterprises build talent so that they can thrive in the era of digital transformation and disruption. We build learning systems and learning experiences that allow for continual enterprise skilling across an organization. With relationships and content from vendors like Microsoft and Cisco and Intel, we can quickly deploy an integrated skilling platform that acts like a lever to steer your digital transformation. And today, I'm very excited to be here with my colleague, Mark Allen. We're going to talk with you about what we see as an essential component for many organizations that are aspiring to become AI-powered and data-driven. And we call this the Corporate AI Academy. Now, Mark, my colleague here, is one of the world's foremost experts on AI Academy development, and he collaborates with me and my colleagues here at Fastlane to help accelerate enterprises' journey into AI. And we're very happy to be able to have this opportunity to bring this message here and opportunities to you here in the Louisville region. Mark, take it away.
Thanks a lot, Barry. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for the introduction. My background includes 14 years of developing AI Academy and bringing the latest AI talent development to organizations around the world, delivering those services and programs in 32 countries, as well as approximately 20 years of experience working with chief learning officers around the globe to develop high-performance, focused, strategically aligned corporate academies. And currently, my focus, and for the last several years, really has been on supporting organizations in accelerating AI, digital, and social transformation by empowering their people with the AI augmented skills needed to thrive in the age of AI. Requirements for the work environment are rapidly changing with the introduction of AI. There are concerns that a growing number of cognitive and manual tasks are being replaced by technology. So how is this going to impact our roles within our organizations? And this research on the impact it's had on radiologists is a very good example of what we're already seeing in many ways across roles and in organizations globally. AI is changing the nature of work for radiologists. For example, AI is used to improve their ability to diagnose the results of what kind of tests they do in the lab. And one of the key points is that AI working on its own does a slightly better job than a radiologist because it can see things that a radiologist cannot. But AI on its own isn't perfect. And actually, when you support a radiologist through AI augmentation, that's where you have the best results. And this truth is present across quite a wide range of roles where AI is currently being used. The key takeaway here is that no, we're not all going to be losing our job.
And I'm not sure if anyone can hear me. Mark, can you hear me? And
I can hear you, Barry.
okay, Mark, you're going to need to reset. We lost you there. Can you hear me, Mark?
I can.
All right, take it away. And you might want to
Okay.
kill your video if you're running into bandwidth issues.
Okay, thank you. So the real challenge for all of us is the enormous task of upskilling the workforce. For radiologists, for example, the need for changing the skills they need in order to perform radiology has really been significant. It's resulted in an enormous training challenge for that discipline. And this is true for many disciplines these days and going forward. So the real challenge for all of us is responding to that upskilling gap. Which brings us to the focus of this presentation, which is the rise of the AI Academy as a optimal response to upskilling the workforce. McKinsey, in the work that they've done in supporting these upskilling challenges globally, has found that the AI Academy is the answer to addressing this growing talent challenge, and that there's a very clear business case for doing so. Barry? Barry? You might be muted.
Yep. Yeah, sorry about that. One of the things that's important when you're looking at building out an AI Academy is you need to be able to get people skilled at the speed of now, and you need to continually help them with their learning development and building new skilling programs to address new needs. Fastlane's relationship with the most influential suppliers in the world of AI and data allow us to bring an enormous amount of existing training and certification programs into a corporate academy. We're regularly weaving in free content and instructor-led offerings and assessments into digital skilling platforms that we provision for our customers. In a sense, this allows you to map out a talent program within your AI Academy that's mimicking your actual multi-vendor AI supporting technology landscape. Mark, can you go to the next slide?
Yep.
So at this point, we've already integrated skilling journeys addressing the roles of data scientists, AI solution developers, machine learning engineers, data engineers, and data analysts. Now, these roles are critical to your company's journey into the AI future. So it's essential that you plan ahead for the success of these roles. At Fastlane, we have, with our corporate AI Academy services, we enable you to integrate these training and certifications in a rapid fashion into a single manageable platform tailored to your AI and digital talent strategies. Now, most organizations are vendor agnostic, and so having the ability to weave in the right content based on where you are in your AI journey, where your workloads are running, where your machine learning pipelines are, and they could be on multiple clouds and vendor technologies. Fastlane's approach allows you to instantiate an integrated multi-vendor skilling framework optimized for your learners and informed by your business's goals, mapped to that strategic imperative. And this allows you to tailor the learner's upskilling plan based on that particular background of the learner and your goals for becoming an AI automated worker. So Mark, if you could go to the next slide there. So here at Fastlane, we've had the pleasure and the experience of building awesome learning experience platforms for some of the world's largest companies, including Microsoft, where we've built out several data and AI academies, one in Canada and Central Europe, and also in the Middle East. We've also built out these skilling platforms for ABB, General Electric Digital, the London School of Business and Economics, and more. And as these companies embrace a data-driven, AI-powered approach to doing business, the ability to continually learn is just essential to that growth and that cultural development. So the Fastlane digital learning platform enables these customers to continually curate and integrate new content, new learning journeys for their IT folks, but as well as non-IT folks that need digital skills. This makes your digital transformation of your people scalable, adaptable, and cost-effective. So with that in mind, Mark, I want to turn it back to you to share with these folks how you can go about creating an AI corporate academy and what our research has shown to really substantiate the value that it can bring.
Great. Thanks, Barry. So we asked regional leaders how prepared they felt they were for the upscaling challenges that they're facing, and 70 responded. To do so, we used SurveyMonkey's new AI augmentation tools to craft this survey. And as a result of using AI augmentation, we improved the evaluation score from 80 to 100%, increased the completion rate from 70 to 85, and reduced the overall time to complete, and hence the usability of the survey, from 15 minutes to 8. One of the things that we asked those 70 leaders that participated was to what extent their organization is using data to personalize customer experiences, using AI to assess and predict customer needs, behaviors, and preferences, using AI to support the work of their customer-facing staff, improve the products and services that they provide to their customers, and use AI and digital technologies to automate the delivery of their products and services. You know, we asked this question in particular because, as we know, so many of our organizations have placed a greater emphasis on bringing their supporting their customers' needs online. Approximately half of the respondents have already started to use AI and data in several of these ways to at least a small extent, with approximately 15 to 20% doing so to a large extent, which is good to see. And as you can see from the dark blue bar, a high percentage of the people who are not using AI and data in these ways today are interested in exploring the possibility of doing so. We also asked them to what extent their leaders have explored the capabilities of AI and identified potential high-value use cases, implemented one or more pilot applications, and built a strong business case for AI and AI augmented transformation, developed a compelling vision, strategy, and roadmap for AI and data-powered digital transformation, made progress in executing on that strategy, and moved beyond the proof of concept stage, where they've actually begun to scale the benefits more broadly, which is one of the main areas where organizations get stuck. They demonstrate the value, but then somehow or another fall short in terms of being able to deliver that value, scale that value across the enterprise. And as you can see from this data, many organizations are in the early stages. Many organizations across the region are in the early stages of tapping the potential of AI for their business. Relatively few have moved beyond the proof of concept stage to scale those benefits. But again, there's significant interest in exploring each of these application areas more fully. And often when an organization is considering developing an AI academy, they will focus on areas such as these five as areas that the academy will support. Moving beyond the proof of concept stage and beginning to scale the benefits, for example, is very much dependent upon the abilities of your people, to the extent to which people are engaged in AI innovation teams, the extent to which there's been suitable upskilling and reskilling of your workforce in these areas, and so on. We also asked participants whether or not they have developed a strategic learning plan for arming their people with the skills they'll need to excel in a increasingly AI and digital world. And approximately a quarter of organizations have done so to at least a moderate extent, while more than half have not done so at all. Developing a strategic learning plan with a focus on AI and digital transformation is actually a first step in AI academy development. We also asked participants to what extent they're using AI and digital technologies to support data-driven decision-making, improve operational effectiveness and efficiency, optimize, augment, or automate a growing number of processes and roles, identify new opportunities for the business, and also create new AI augmented offerings. And the good news is that 25 to 50% are now using AI in their business in at least one or more of these ways to a moderate extent, with many wanting to, as you can see again from the blue bar across each column, many wanting to explore these application areas further. And again, ideally, you would want your AI Academy to focus on supporting innovative advances in one or more of these areas. We also asked participants to what extent that their workforce is being or will be impacted by these changes over the next 2 to 3 years. And as you can see from this donut chart, quite a few feel that the impact is going to be at least 25%, if not greater than 50%, with a third of participants estimating that 30% or more than 50% of their workforce is likely to be impacted by these challenges, which creates a very large upskilling challenge, not only across our region here in Louisville and the surrounding region, but also for the country as a whole. Thus far, a number of organizations in the region have established their own AI or analytics academy, though 80% have not as yet, and quite a large number of respondents are interested in exploring the opportunity to do so, which is very good to see. Summary of observations is that 40% or more of the workforce will be impacted by these challenges. The amount of upskilling and reskilling that'll be needed is unprecedented. Much of the upskilling and reskilling will necessarily fall to enterprise. I mean, we can't anticipate that universities or community colleges or other vendors and so on are going to be able to address such an enormous upskilling challenge. And hence the importance of smart organizations developing smart and efficient approaches that they can allow them to quickly and cost effectively deploy upskilling for their workforce. Which brings us to the goals and best practices for establishing an AI Academy. This is a set of sample AI Academy goals that I just quickly drafted, empowering our people with the skills and micro-credentials they'll need to thrive in an increasingly AI augmented and data-powered world, focusing skilling initiatives on achieving breakthrough competitive advantage, arming leaders with an essential tool for staying ahead in an environment where technological advances are rapidly changing the competitive landscape, drive the successful execution of the organization's AI strategy, and deliver learning in the flow of work. So to take a look quickly at
the 5-minute time, I just want to give you a 5-minute heads up.
Yeah, I think we got a little bit of a late start here, but I'll try to wrap this up over the next 5 minutes. So the AI Academy process at a glance is it begins with a getting started phase where it's important to do organizational AI and data readiness assessment, learning needs assessment, to put together a strategy for AI augmented talent development across the enterprise, to put together a high-level design for the upskilling solution, and to present a business case for this initiative to the senior leaders of an organization. And what I'm recommending here in terms of best practices is based on 20+ years of having led dozens of organizations, Fortune 500, Fortune 2000 organizations, step by step through this process, and also gathering best practice data from hundreds of CLOs around the globe. next stage is rapid development and deployment, which also includes change management and branding, academy branding the academy in such a way as to attract top talent to the organization, because the academy serves as a demonstration of the organization's commitment to developing the capabilities of its people in this area, which are so vital for people in terms of their future career. And then upskilling and engaging and activating senior leaders across the organization, doing use case deep dives, exploring the limits and potentials of the technology, helping them to shape a compelling narrative for the workforce as a whole, for stakeholders, helping them to engage the workforce and create an AI-ready culture. And then engaging, skilling, and activating the workforce as a whole is the next important step. And this involves providing highly in-demand badging, micro-credentialing, and certifications for people, and engaging them in ways that will allow them to serve as members of AI innovation teams, to help to actually bring AI augmented technology into each role in a way that makes optimal sense for each person who is really closest to the needs of that role. And finally, to govern the Academy's impact and to put together a framework that allows the upskilling strategy and AI Academy framework to adapt rapidly to changing technologies and economic conditions. I've just touched on a number of the key points that I've prepared.
You might want to jump to the AI outcome slide on 26.
Touched on. And also making this available in the form of a company-specific digital platform. And the result is that your organization is able to tap the full potential of AI, create an AI-ready workforce and culture, and have the skill development and innovation teams in place that allow for scaling that benefits enterprise-wide. Barry?
And as Mark's made clear, there's a real essential place in having that internal AI continual learning capability, and the concept of the Corporate AI Academy gives you the way of setting it up so that it aligns to your strategic business imperatives and really augments, accelerates your journey into the AI future. So thanks, Mark, for bringing your expertise and passion for leveraging AI to serve human-centric outcomes for folks. And as Mark mentioned, we would love it if you and your colleagues can take a few moments to also answer to the survey. If you just simply email me at barry.kaufman@fastlaneus.com, we can turn around and provide you that survey. Again, it's an AI optimized survey that's been judged as perfect by the AI algorithms. So and it predicts that you will only spend 7 minutes and 0.95 in completing it. So not a big ask, and there's a lot of feedback that you'll get from it. So just email me, and then we can follow up with you and give you a free 30-minute consultation to discuss your results with Mark and myself. So thanks again for joining. And Mark, if you can kind of share the details page of our the next one there. Feel free to reach out to myself or Mark for further follow-on conversations. Enjoy the rest of the summit, and thank you, Future of Work Initiative here in Louisville.
Thank you, everybody.
Eric, thanks for hosting this, and guess we're a wrap.